Okay. So here you can understand this chemical formula for cellubiose and cellulose. One beta glucose unit is indicated here, another beta glucose unit. These two beta glucose units form one cellubiose unit with this oxygen bridge. These beta glucose are joining with these oxygen bridges, this link, and you can observe here we have OH, OH, and OH. These two are pure, and this is also OH. So number of OH groups are present in one beta glucose unit, and another hydroxyl group here in the form of methylol group. So you can see in beta glucose and finally in cellubiose, number of hydroxyl groups are present. And this hydroxyl group is having its specific significance or specific purpose, because hydroxyl groups are polar in nature, and this polar type of polar groups attracts water molecules, and if it attracts water molecules, then water molecules can enter into the amorphous region of the polymer system if amorphous regions are there. And you already we have taken cotton is having 65% crystalline and 35% amorphous regions. So when number of cellubiose units join together with the process of polymerization in the nature itself, they are forming this cellulose. So यहाँ जो change दिखाया हमने, it's a continuous chain, and here only one unit is there, and here we are indicating this, we are keeping open. Yes. Any question? Okay, question we will take later on. Your voice is not clear. Maybe our network in the college may be a little bit poor. Pardon? Okay, we will take questions later on. After I will switch off the recording, then I will take the questions. Okay, you just note down, and you can send it on in chat box also. So again, 2 beta glucose forming one cellubiose. Number of cellubiose means 5,000 are joining together to form one macromolecule, which is indicated like this and known as cellulose. So this cotton polymer, the most important chemical grouping in the cotton polymer are the hydroxyl group, as I mentioned earlier with earlier slide. Hydroxyl groups, that is OH groups. These are also present as methylol group. At one place we have seen CH2OH, that is methylol group. So many hydroxyl groups are there in the cotton polymer, and their polarity, because they are polar in nature, so their polarity gives rise to hydrogen bond between the hydroxyl group of adjacent cotton polymer. So between the adjacent polymers, it is creating or it is forming hydrogen bonds. So in this way, hydrogen bonds are found in the cotton polymer system, and van der Waals forces also occur. So two types of bonds are present in cotton fiber. One is hydrogen bonds and another is van der Waals forces. Now the polymer system of cotton. The polymer system of cotton is a crystalline polymer system. So cotton can be termed as a crystalline fiber. Means more percentage of crystalline regions is there. So this is put in the category of crystalline fibers. If more amorphous regions are there, then the fiber will be more amorphous fiber like viscose. That is just opposite of cotton. So cotton is a crystalline fiber. Its polymer system is about 65 to 70% crystalline, and correspondingly about 35 to 30% amorphous. If it is 65% crystalline, 35% amorphous. If it is 70% crystalline, then 30% amorphous. That is the meaning of correspondingly. So because the crystalline regions are between 65 to 70%, so more crystalline regions are there. So this can be termed as a crystalline fiber. Therefore, they are in the main well oriented and no further apart than 0.5 nanometer in the crystalline regions. So in the crystalline region, because the polymer packing is more, the interpolymer space is less, and that is not more than 0.5 nanometer. It is less than 0.5 nanometer. And when the polymers are having this much gap only, means the distance between the space between the polymers is only 0.5 nanometer or less than that, van der Waals forces are formed. And that's why hydrogen bonds and van der Waals forces are the main interpolymer forces of attraction found in cotton fiber, which will decide many properties of the cotton fiber. So these 4 slides, I'm going back. Cotton polymer, it should be completely clear. Make it clear that name of monomer of cellulose is cellubiose. Cotton is cellubiose, which is containing 2 beta glucose units. These 2 units of beta glucose forms 1 cellubiose. These 5,000 cellubiose units are joined or connected with each other by bonds and forming a macromolecule that is known as cellulose, which is a linear polymer. So this much should be clear. Length is 5,000 nanometer and thickness of the cotton polymer is 0.8 nanometer. Second, with the help of chemical formula, you can understand how 2 beta glucose units are joined together to form 1 cellubiose, and how 5,000 cellubiose units are joined together to form 1 cellulose macromolecule. This is very important topic. That's why I'm repeating again. The most important chemical groupings on the cotton polymer are the hydroxyl group or OH groups. These are also present as methylol group or CH2OH group. And because they are polar in nature and their polarity gives rise to hydrogen bonds between the hydroxyl groups of adjacent cotton polymer, and the van der Waals forces also formed because of the gap between the polymers in the crystalline region is less than 0.5 nanometer. So van der Waals forces are also formed. Wherever the gap or the space between the polymers is less than 0.5 nanometer in any fiber, van der Waals forces are created. However, van der Waals forces are the weakest force. Already we have taken different type of interpolymer forces of attraction in the first unit: van der Waals forces, hydrogen bonds, ionic bonds, and covalent bonds. Among these 4 types of interpolymer forces of attraction, van der Waals forces of attraction are the weakest forces of attraction. But if the number is very high, however, they are weaker, but if the number is very high, they are having significant effect on the strength of the fiber. And they are contributing the strength of the fiber. So these hydrogen bonds as well as van der Waals forces of attraction are responsible for the tensile strength or tenacity of the cotton fiber. And this polar nature of the hydroxyl group is responsible to attract the water molecules, and the amorphous region found in the cotton fiber can absorb these water content, moisture, and it is increasing the moisture regain and reducing the chances of static electricity, means increasing the static electrical resistance. It is increasing moisture absorption as well as static electrical resistance of cotton fiber due to this polar nature of polymers and amorphous regions found in the polymer system, which is shown in the next slide. 30 to 35% amorphous regions are there. So these polar groups attracting water molecules, and these water molecules are penetrated or entered into the amorphous regions, and due to this cotton fiber is having good moisture regain, which we will cover in when we will take the physical and chemical properties. So these 4 slides are very important. So try to remember it, try to understand it, because this will be used again and again whenever we will take the cotton fiber, the properties of the cotton fiber. Now, a small topic: chemical composition of cotton fiber. Means what type of chemicals are present in cotton fiber. So the native cotton, means the pure cotton, is the poorest form of natural cellulose. No, sorry, here it is a mistake, the spelling mistake. Please correct it. It is purest form, not poorest. It is purest. Native cotton is the purest form of natural cellulose. However, it contains usual constituent of a vegetable cell. जो बाकी plants के अंदर जो भी vegetable cells होती हैं, वो भी इसका part होते हैं, but the main part is cellulose. And the approximate composition of a dry mature cotton fiber can be understood with the help of this table. Here we have taken the name of chemicals found in cotton fiber. Here we have taken composition in the percentage form. You can see here the main part is cellulose, which is around 89%. 88.97 means around 89% is cellulose. And that's why we are saying it is the purest form of natural cellulose. In other vegetable mode, the cellulose percentage is not that much. So this can be, that's why we are saying that it is the purest form of natural cellulose. The content of protein is 1 to 2%, oil and waxes, which are found particularly in cuticle part, that is 0.4 to 1.5%. Pectins, which are mainly found in primary cell wall along with cellulose. These pectineous substances are 0.4 to 1.5%. Minerals, 0.7 to 1.6%, and others are 0.5 to 8%. So in this way, we can divide the composition of chemicals within the polymer of within the cotton fiber. And we will take little bit detail about these chemicals like cellulose, protein, oil and wax, pectins, minerals in next slides. Cellulose, native cotton contains maximum amount of cellulose in its purest form, that is around 89%. Cellulose is composed of glucose molecules that already we have taken when we have taken the polymer of cotton. Protein, the proteins present in cotton fiber are of vegetable type. Two types of proteins, vegetable and animal. So here vegetable type of protein is found in the cotton fiber. They are polypeptide and amino acids concentrated in the primary wall and lumen of the fiber. Some in the primary wall and in lumen the protein is found. The color of cotton may be due to its protein content. जो cotton का जो भी color होता है means white or brown, light brown or tan color, that is due to this protein content depending on the percentage of protein. And this is found in lumen as well as primary cell wall. Oil and wax. Oil and waxes are hydrophobic substances. Just opposite of hydrophilic. Opposite of hydrophilic is hydrophobic. Means having the phobia with water. Hydrophobic in nature. So oil and waxes are hydrophobic substances acting as a protecting coating on the surface of the fiber. तो fiber की surface से उसके ऊपर जो protecting coating होती है जिसको हम cuticle बोलते हैं, उसके अंदर जो उसमें होता है oil and wax. These are basically very complex substances of high molecular weight. These oil and waxes are very complex substances having very high molecular weight. Glycerides and fatty acids located in the cuticle and primary wall of the fiber. And these can be easily saponifiable and removed during scoring treatment in alkali solution. तो हम इसका cotton textile material का scoring करेंगे तो कुछ part इस oil and waxes का remove हो जाता है. And day by day जब हम use करते हैं, जब हम laundering करते हैं या हम continuously इस chemicals के contact में आता है, alkalis के contact में आता है, तो automatically धीरे धीरे cuticle उसका हटता रहता है. इसलिए आपने cotton textile materials देखे होंगे, जैसे जैसे हम उनको पहनते रहते हैं धीरे धीरे उसका moisture absorption बढ़ता जाता है because of removal of cuticle part. In the beginning the moisture absorption is not that much, and that's why cotton fabrics when we are wearing in the beginning are not that much comfortable as we are using it again and again. It is due to because after washing using with treated with alkali solutions, this saponifiable takes place and it removes the this cuticle, the waxes and fats part. Then another content chemical is pectins, primary calcium, magnesium and ferrous pectates with some free pectic acids and methyl pectates. These can be removed by alkali boiling or scoring of cotton materials. इनको भी हम scoring के through remove कर सकते हैं. Scoring means we are treating with alkalis, a certain percentage of alkali at with boiling, means at higher temperatures. Then the scoring will take place, which will remove these pectins also. And these are actually impurities found in the cotton fiber. Then minerals left as ash after cotton is burned. This is a burning test of cotton. हम जब cotton को burn करते हैं तो लास्ट में जो ash बचता है, राख जो बचती है, उससे भी हम कॉटन को आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं. अगर किसी फाइबर को हम बर्न करते हैं और लास्ट में अगर एश बच रही है तो इट मीन्स इट इज फ्रॉम द सेल्यूलोजिक सोर्स. Not exactly it is cotton, but it is from cellulosic category, because ash is left only in the cellulosic category. And some other criteria is also included. Due to soil and atmospheric impurities at the time of busting, when the cotton balls get burst open, at that time some soil or atmospheric impurities are taken by these fibers on the outside surface of the cotton fiber. So these are found on the outside surface of the fibers. Mineral matter consists of chlorides, carbonates, and sulfates of potassium, calcium, magnesium, removed by simply boiling the cotton in water. These can be removed just by boiling the cotton in water. So that was all. This is all about this chemical composition, which we have taken in these slides. Starting from this table is indicating the chemical composition in percentage form. And then we have taken cellulose, protein, oil and wax, pectins and minerals in details in these slides. Yes, one more small topic we are taking, that is uses of cotton fiber. Extensively used as apparel fabrics for summer wears. All of you are aware about this, because most of you are also using some, particularly for summers, your apparels that is made of cotton, particularly 100% cotton. Or sometimes for cheaper fabrics, we are going for polyester cotton blending also. Household fabrics like bed sheets, towels, rugs, and carpets, we use cotton fiber. Also used for industrial purposes, industrial applications like tire coats industry for to form bags, medical supplies, and equipments. So cotton is having a very wide use at different places. For apparels means clothing purposes, for household, bed sheets, towels, rugs, and carpets, and for it is having also industrial applications. So these are the uses of cotton fibers. Yes, the next is a very important topic again, physical properties of cotton fiber as well as chemical properties of cotton fiber. And this topic can be understood if you remember the topic of first unit, in which we have taken general considerations with regard to fiber properties. Now, whatever we have taken in that topic, we have to apply here to understand different physical properties or chemical properties of the cotton fiber, as well as the polymer and the polymer system of cotton fiber, which we have covered today. So, and that's why I have emphasis on particularly those 4 slides in which we have covered polymer and polymer system of cotton fiber. So if you remember the topic general considerations with regard to fiber properties, if you do not remember, just repeat it again, revise it again, so you can understand this topic. So revise the general considerations as well as polymer and polymer system of fiber, any fiber. Whenever we have to understand physical and chemical properties of any fiber, we require this basic knowledge, that general considerations with regard to fiber properties, and another is the polymer and polymer system of that fiber, and macro structure, the internal structure of that fiber. All these things combinedly decides physical and chemical properties of any fiber. And we will try to understand all those general considerations, applications of those general considerations with the help of this cotton fiber. And then for remaining fibers, I will just share the slides, the PPTs or the content, and then you can understand, you can apply this manner I am explaining today in the cotton fiber. So try to understand it in a better manner, focus on it, try to focus all your attention to understand these physical properties. So once you understand the properties of one fiber with the applications of general considerations and polymer system, then you can easily apply these concepts to understand properties of any fiber like wool, silk, polyester, nylon, whatever the fibers we are going to study in this subject. But at that time, I will just read physical properties or chemical properties of those fibers. We will not go into the explanation. We will take the explanation part along with the cotton fiber only. So the first property is tenacity. It is considered as strong fiber. It is moderately strong fiber, but put in the category of strong fiber. Not very stronger, but it it can be understood, it can be taken as strong fiber. The dry tenacity is varying between 27 to 44 grams per tex. Tenacity is expressed either in grams per denier or it can be expressed as grams per tex. So here we are taking the unit grams per tex. So dry tenacity is 27 to 44 and wet tenacity is 27 to 46 grams per tex. So you can here you can observe the difference. Dry means when the cotton fiber is in dry state, oven dry. At that time, the tenacity is 27 to 44. Little bit variation in the wet state, means when the cotton material are in wet state, the tenacity varies between 27 to 46. So the starting point is same 27, but here you can see it is 44 and it is 46. And this is the fiber which is gaining strength when it is wet. Other fibers like viscose loses strength when it is wet, but cotton gains strength when it is wet. That is clear from these two values, dry tenacity and wet tenacity. Why? That we will take later on. The strength of cotton fiber is caused by these factors are contributing to the strength. One is crystalline. It is 65 to 70% crystalline regions that we have taken when we have taken general consideration. More the crystalline fiber, more the stronger the fiber. The countless regular hydrogen bond formation. Second thing, the interpolymer forces of attraction. That is countless regular hydrogen bond formation between adjacent polymers. Countless hydrogen bonds as well as van der Waals forces of attraction. They are contributing to the interpolymer forces of attraction and finally to the strength of the fiber. So one thing is crystalline regions, another thing is hydrogen bonds and van der Waals forces, and third is the this macrostructure, the spiraling fibrils in the primary and secondary walls. They are also contributing to the strength. So these three factors contribute to the strength of the cotton fiber, and it varies between 27 to 44 in dry state. It is one of the few fibers which gains strength. I already mentioned when wet. जब ये वेट होता है, जब गीला होता है, टेक्सटाइल मटेरियल हम जब वॉश करते हैं और जब वेट स्टेट में होते हैं, तब ये कॉटन जो है स्ट्रेंथ गेन करता है, स्लाइटली गेन करता है, बट स्टिल इट इज गेनिंग, इट इज नॉट लूजिंग. Because of this is the reason. Sometimes the question may be asked in the examination, why the cotton fiber gains strength when wet, and this is the answer. Because of temporary improvement in polymer alignment when it is wet, results in an increase in number of hydrogen bonds, which an approx 5% increase in tenacity. Around 5% tenacity may increase karta hai due to increase in number of hydrogen bonds. Mean more hydrogen bonds are formed in wet state. Why? Because polymer gets aligned, temporarily they get aligned. Why they get aligned? Because these water molecules enter into the amorphous regions of the fiber. And when the water molecules enter into the amorphous regions of fiber, some of the fibers which are randomly arranged, automatically, naturally they get aligned. And when the fibers get aligned, it means the portion of that portion is converted into crystalline. Crystalline means the polymers are aligned. If the polymers are aligned, it means it is crystalline. If polymers are arranged randomly, it means it is amorphous. So due to this, cotton fibers gain strength. So this point is very important. Many times asked in the examination, why the cotton fibers gains strength. This is due to temporary improvement in polymer alignment when wet. Because when it is wet, it is absorbing water molecules into the amorphous regions, and the fibers which are arranged in amorphous regions randomly, they get aligned. Some of the fibers, some of the polymers get aligned. And when they get aligned, hydrogen bonds are formed. When the hydrogen bonds are formed, tenacity is increased. Please don't unmute. Please don't unmute. Next property is elastic plastic nature or elasticity. And as here mentioned, it is put in the category of inelastic fibers. So as far as elasticity is concerned, cotton is not having good elastic. It is not considered as a good elastic fiber. It put in the category of inelastic fibers. And here you can see the data also. When the elongation is 1%, elastic recovery is 91%. Means at Here when we are putting less stresses and the fiber is stretched up to 1%, it is elongated up to 1%, it recovers 91%. But if it is elongated up to 2%, it covers only 74%. When it more extension, more stretching, 3%, only 66%. 5% for only 45% elastic recovery is there. So you can see when the load is less elongation is there, then elastic recovery is good. Otherwise, it is decreasing in a very high ratio. Elongation at break is 6 to 8%. Means at this percentage, at this much percentage of elongation, the fiber will get break. So that is elongation at break, 6 to 8%. The cotton fiber is relatively inelastic because क्यों inelastic है? Because of its crystalline polymer system and countless hydrogen bonds. And for this reason, cotton textile materials wrinkle and crease readily. अगर elasticity अच्छी नहीं है, तो textile materials जो cotton से बने होंगे, they will easily wrinkle, and that's why you can see whenever you wear the cotton fabrics, cotton shirts, after one day you have to wash it and again you have to iron it because wrinkles are created in the cotton due to this reason, because they are inelastic. Why they are inelastic? Because of crystalline polymer system and countless hydrogen bonds. More the bonding is there, more the interpolymer forces of attractions are there, then it cannot be displaced easily. And if it cannot be displaced, these two reasons, crystalline is also preventing the displacement, as well as these interpolymer forces of attraction are providing this cohesiveness, and they cannot be displaced easily. And if they cannot be displaced, it means they cannot be elastic. They are inelastic. So this is second important property of cotton fiber. Third one is hygroscopic properties, for which the cotton fiber is known and used for apparel purposes because it gives comfort to the user. The cotton fiber is very absorbent due to countless polar hydroxyl groups, which we have already mentioned, taken when we have taken the polymer grouping. In its polymers, hydroxyl groups, which are polar in nature, which attract water molecules. They can only enter amorphous regions, as the interpolymer spaces in the crystalline regions are too small for water molecules. So crystalline में enter नहीं करके amorphous region में enter करेगा. The amount of moisture absorption of cotton depends on relative humidity and temperature of air to which it is exposed. These are also two important parameters, and that's why we are maintaining relative humidity in the industries. The temperature and relative humidity, specific temperature, standard relative humidity, and temperature should be maintained in the industry. So here you can see when the 40% relative humidity and 25 degrees centigrade temperature, it is moisture regain is only 5.8%. If you increase the relative humidity up to 90% and temperature is 25 degrees, the same temperature, the moisture regain increases up to 12%. And here we are taking the standard conditions, 65% relative humidity and 22 degrees centigrade. At this, it is 8.5%. And we are mentioning this one only. Whenever it is asked what is the moisture regain of cotton fiber, it is 8.5% because we are considering only standard conditions. At higher humidity, more moisture regain. जितना humidity बढ़ेगा, moisture regain बढ़ेगा, क्योंकि moisture content atmosphere में बढ़ रहा है, तो moisture regain बढ़ेगा. So more moisture regain due to breakages of hydrogen bond in amorphous regions. The hygroscopic nature prevents cotton materials from developing static elasticity. I have mentioned chances of generation of static charges is less. So due to this hydrophilic or hygroscopic nature. So cotton fibers are exhibiting good moisture regain as well as good electrical resistance, static electrical resistance. Why? Due to polar nature of these groups and due to amorphous regions. These are the two main reasons which are contributing to the moisture regain as well as static electrical resistance. Next is thermal properties, means how it behaves when it is exposed to heat. Very heat resistant action of heat. Cotton fibers have the ability to conduct heat energy, minimizing any destructive heat accumulation. Thus, they can withstand hot ironing temperatures.
Sir, थोड़ा सा slow बोलिए sir.
अच्छा ज़्यादा fast हो गया क्या? मैं सोच रहा हूँ आज cover कर लूँ इसको. Okay, very heat resistant. This is having good resistance to heat. Is it okay? This speed is
Yes,
okay?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Cotton fibers have the ability to conduct heat energy, minimizing any destructive heat accumulation. Thus, they can withstand hot ironing temperatures. Means हम इसको higher temperatures पर iron कर सकते हैं. Cotton can be heated in dry state up to 150 degrees centigrade without any decomposition, but it spoils the effect of bleaching. Bleaching is a process used for cotton to make it more white, and that's why it will affect the effects. It will decompose the effects. It will spoil the effect of bleaching if it is more than 150 degree. So temperature should not exceed more than 93. The ideal temperature which it can withstand is 93 degrees centigrade. After that, small decomposition starts. And about 170 degrees centigrade, cotton begins to scorch. जलना start हो जाएगा. Scorching शुरू हो जाएगी. Burning शुरू हो जाएगी. Even in a short time. They burns with a bright flame with continuous even after the fiber is removed from the flame. After the flame has been extinguished, the fiber continues to smolder and very little ash is collected. It doesn't melt. So this is it is not thermoplastic, and due to long polymers and countless hydrogen bonds which prevents the polymer from assuming new positions when heat is applied. These countless hydrogen bonds